76ers got a big win over the Bucks yesterday. Joel Embiid leading the way for Philly with 31 points and 11 rebounds. And that Philly D holding Giannis to just 18 points on 8 for 27 from the field. Nick, did the Sixers send a message here?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Sixers, obviously the best team in the East.
Embiid, stick with this thing.
Embiid better than Giannis. Giannis had a bad game. Embiid was... Isn't that how it works on Christmas Day? We make all our... Oh, that only works when it involves LeBron and the Lakers. My bad. So let me actually be logical for a moment. No. I mean, it's a good win by Philly. Milwaukee is head and shoulders better than everyone out East. They have the best player out East by a mile in Giannis. It's a great win by Philly on Christmas Day, and credit to them, because now maybe they can trick themselves into believing they could do this to Milwaukee in a series, but they cannot. Milwaukee is going to trounce the conference in the regular season and the postseason as Giannis wins his second straight MVP.
I'm a lot higher on the East than you are. I do think Milwaukee clearly is the favorite. I did pick Philadelphia in the preseason to win the East, and I've got pick integrity, as you know. So I'm sticking with them. And the reason I picked them is because while Milwaukee has one superstar, Middleton is becoming a legitimate star. Wouldn't you? Like, he was good again yesterday. He had, 31 or something like he is really playing well. He's going to be an all-star again this year. So maybe you give him 2. Okay, but Philly has 4 all-star caliber players. Embiid was tremendous, outplayed Giannis, not just in the box score, but head-to-head. Had great defense on Giannis. Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, who's a professional scorer.
Horford's the only one that didn't play well.
Right, and he brings professionalism to
and good defense.
One great defensive team.
Giannis shouldn't be taking 7 threes. I know he made all those threes against the Lakers.
Right? Yeah.
He shouldn't be taking 7 threes.
I agree, but he was great yesterday.
Speaking of the Lakers, they have lost more than just the game last night to the Clippers. LeBron James aggravated a groin injury in the first quarter. And according to reports, some in the organization are encouraging the King to take the injury seriously, meaning take some time off to fully heal. In case you forgot, LeBron also suffered a groin injury on Christmas Day last season on the other side, which sent the Lakers season into a tailspin. Nick, terrible coincidence. How concerning is this injury?
It's concerning. Just real quick, just a moment ago, because I don't want people to kill Broussard. I said Giannis took 7 threes, and you said he was great. Embiid is who you were saying there. I didn't want. Okay. I don't want people to clip Broussard saying, yeah, Giannis was unbelievable on Christmas and send it to us. To answer your question, Jenna Wolf, how concerning is this injury? Well, it's massively concerning if they allow it and LeBron allows it to get worse and deteriorate. And this is where the 2 groin injuries on Christmas Day, 1 year apart, it's obviously, as you mentioned, an odd coincidence. It's an unfortunate one. This is nowhere near the issue the one last year was. Last year was the first significant injury of his career. This is a little nagging thing that NBA guys, LeBron included, always have throughout the course of a season or over the course of a couple seasons, but it must be addressed. And this is where you need some of those adults in the room, Frank Vogel and his very veteran coaching staff, to pull LeBron aside and say, man, I know you've boxed yourself in a bit with the load management comments, and you are going to be opening yourself up to criticism if we sit you. But you said it, I play if I'm healthy. Right now, he's clearly not 100% healthy. Do not worry about any of the noise, and LeBron's been a great player as far as ignoring the noise, certainly over the latter half of his career, after I think it did bother him in the first half of his career. The only way this Lakers season goes sideways is if, at the end of it, LeBron or Anthony Davis are not there in full force, and this is where, while I don't think year 17, it turns 35 in 4 days, that stuff matters that much when it comes to the greatest athlete ever. Where it does matter to everyone is this: how quickly you recover from these nagging tweaks, sprains, and pulls. So if the Lakers lose, go from 4 losses in a row to 6 losses in a row, you deal with it. If it means you get the healthy LeBron that you had the first 25 games of the year. Because when this team was 24-3 and LeBron was a top 3 MVP candidate, no one was doubting how good they could be. It's since he suffered the rib injury and now the groin injury that the Jackals are out waiting for the moment they've been waiting on all year. It's not a shock that the Lakers' losing streak coincides with LeBron getting dinged up.
Do you think, because again, the reports have been that he might sit out one half of the upcoming back-to-back. Do you like that, or would you say sit him?
It depends on how significant it is.
Right.
I would say you can have you have the next 2 games off because he has the rib and the groin.
Right.
I would tell him you can sit both the games of the back-to-back.
Look, I love that LeBron and AD are respecting the regular season. I love that they're playing, especially AD, because AD playing through all these little nagging injuries shows the impact of LeBron James on him. Because I'm convinced if AD was in New Orleans, he would have been sitting out plenty of these games with these little injuries that he's always sat out with. So I respect that. I love it. You want to play 78, 82, whatever it is. But be smart. Somebody in that Lakers organization, as you said, Rob Pelinka, Frank Vogel, Lionel Hollins, Jason Kidd, heck, Maverick Carter or Rich Paul, sit down with LeBron and say, look, this season is about you winning the championship. And I don't even think he should catch flack if he sits out, say, the next 2 or 3 games from the people that's, oh, you were talking about load management. That's not load management. That is you are injured and you want to get fully healthy.
But you know he will. Whether he should or not, he will, and he has to not care about it, of course.
If people think it's not an injury. But here's the thing. Look, the last 3 games, LeBron's not been good. His numbers have been great, which is a testament to how good he is. But still, he has not been himself against Indiana, against Milwaukee, or against the Clippers. That LeBron James is not going to get the Lakers over the hump. If LeBron's playing like that, they won't beat the Clippers. They won't win the championship.
Correct.
He needs to get healthy. We saw last year, he came back what now in hindsight appears to be early. And he wasn't the same. They were losing to Memphis, Atlanta. LeBron needs to get healthy. He shouldn't need somebody to tell him, but if he does, then he's got to live.
And you saw, again, even the most ardent LeBron James doubter, if you've watched them throughout the year, he's been a different player since midway through the Indiana game, just flatly.
Yep.
And yesterday, took 12 threes. Missed the most threes he's ever missed in a game in his career.
Was really settling.
Because he didn't have the burst to get to the basket. It wasn't the rib injury, it was the groin injury. And so LeBron's the only athlete I've ever seen that everyone immediately discounts no matter what the past performance is. Not from 5 years ago, but from 3 weeks ago when it was like, my God, he's the league MVP, and now it is. See, you know, he's shooting 39% from the field in the last 3 games. There's a reason. It's because he's dinged up, and I agree with you 1,000%. And there is a difference between load managing a knee condition to where you miss a quarter of the games and suffering an injury and missing a game or 2 after that. No one has argued. I haven't seen anyone, and I might have been the hardest person of anybody on the load management stuff, that guys should have to play through injuries. Nobody is arguing that. It's how much maintenance you should do to prevent injuries during the season that creates.
But we just applauded Dak Prescott because he's gone out there and he's a good leader for playing through his injury.
Because it's a 16-game season. They're football
and he's only
players.
got basically one game
football,
left.
That's just part of the game.
And by the way, if this were to be clear, if they
trying to win the basketball game on the road, and we were able to do that. I mean, it's a long season, it's a marathon, so you know, it was a great atmosphere. You know, we had a chance to win, but they made the pace.
All right, guys, we're going to talk about that groin injury to LeBron. We should keep in mind it's a different side. It was, I think, the left side of his groin, not the same one he hurt last year. But let's first start talking about the game. Did the Clippers, Nick, prove that they are the best team in L.A. after last night?
Well, they played better last night, and they had a fabulous finish. And they were down 15 early in the 3rd quarter. We showed the highlight. They were down 7 with around 6 minutes left. The Lakers are like 90% to win that game, and they need to win that game. They should have won that game. And Anthony Davis said it repeatedly after the game. Basically, we gave this game away. So this is a bad loss for the Lakers because they had controlled the entirety of the second half until the moments of the second half that matter the most. But despite that, do I think the Clippers are better than the Lakers? No. Now, I don't know how Broussard feels, but my guess is you similarly on this, even if you're a little higher on the Clippers than me, but I think these are going to be minority opinions. I think what you had in the NBA yesterday, the best team in each conference take on what most people consider to be their toughest competition in each conference.
Yes.
You had the best player in each conference outplayed by the best player on the opposition in each of those games. And folks are going to have the correct reaction, I believe, to Milwaukee-Philly, which is Giannis still the best player out east, and Milwaukee's the best team. And people are going to wildly overreact to Lakers-Clippers because the vast majority of the basketball world has been waiting for a moment to say, told you so, Lakers ain't that good. Soft schedule, LeBron's in year 17, the real team of LA is the Clippers, and because of the Lakers' own errors down the stretch, because LeBron, injury or not, was not able to get to the basket yesterday and his shot was not falling, one shot shy to open the game of the worst start to a game in his NBA career. That's 0 for 8. He was 0 for 7 to start yesterday's game. People are going to pounce on this. And LeBron also said we're going to talk about the injuries. The only player in sports not allowed to get injured. So if he's hurt, it's his fault. And so the Lakers, though, they got to own this one, Broussard, because they had this game in control throughout the second half. They led the entirety of the second half until there's about 4.5 minutes left in this game, and they never punched back once the Clippers retook the lead. But